Hello, podcastlers, and welcome to another episode of the Deep Time Podcast. Now, today's episode is spurred on by a goof we did in our last episode. Now, for those of you who remember, we called out for submissions for papers for us to discuss, and we went on a rather big, sort of slightly mocking rant about how James McPhee suggested a paper that he was fifth author on, and not the paper that he was first author on, in which he described Apatorhamphus. But we completely messed up because James actually also suggested that, and we just did not see it. So that's our fault. And so to make it up, we're doing this special episode today dedicated to Apatorhamphus, and then by extension, obviously, we'll go a bit more into the Kem Kem Pterosaurs, which are actually quite interesting and have quite a history to them. And to help us talk about this, we have James McPhee himself, who published on Apatorhamphus, joining us today. So, hello!
Hello, everyone!
James has arrived, and in addition to James, I'm also joined by Kalamakaw.
Hello there.
And no one else, because Armin can't make it, and Yo-Yo's mic is broken, so.
I hope I didn't scare them off.
Oh, no, it's absolutely you.
No,
you're
trying to... Nah, no. Nothing scary about a Brit.
Right, well, we just got to that joke really fast. That's it. We peaked in our comedy for this episode.
Speedrun. Comedy speedrun any percent.
Too soon. It was pretty stupid, wasn't it?
Who's Obama?
What? Okay, right,
well, confused half the viewers. All right, let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Kalamakaw. Sorry. I'll get there eventually.
That's fine. We've all called him Obama on stream.
Yeah.
On podcast. So lockdown was weird for us. But yeah, so James, if you want, you can take it away.
Right. Okay. So in the grand old year of 2020, I described a probable Anhanguerid pterosaur from the Kem Kem group by the name of Apatorhamphus, and it is a specimen that is.
Shall I post a picture of the holotype?
Yeah, that would be a very good place to start.
It's 5010. Yeah, let me just go into and post. Actually, let me just.
I'm glad you came prepared.
Well, how do I delete my? I don't. How do? Oh, this is the button, right? There we go. That's better.
So yeah, that is the first. That's the holotype specimen. It's actually quite well preserved, considering what it is, because in the Kem Kem, it's a hygiene environment. A lot of the specimens are very very fragmentary, very small. So you end up with specimens that generally look like that. As far as pterosaurs go, they're generally known from rostral material. Occasionally, you'll get other things like cervical vertebrae, bones from the arm, and metacarpals of the wing. But very, very commonly, you get these rostra, and there are a number of different forms that you find in these localities, of which you have some of the others like Alanka, Xericeps, and then there's this one, Apatorhamphus, which is quite distinct from the others. You can see there from the image right there that it's got a in dorsal profile. It kind of curves in, whereas on the bottom it's completely straight. Oh, whoops.
Oh, I'll fix that. There we go.
Oh, it was doing it.
It was doing it. Yeah, sorry. Your layer had to move up. We probably should have done a few test runs, shouldn't we? Yeah, sorry. And then you press D to delete.
Well, I didn't even know that
right now. Oh yeah, now I'm gonna have to do it again.
No, you can do it better.
No worries.
Yeah, there we go. It goes up like that, but it goes. Oh, that's a terrible straight line. Oh my god.
You Control Z to undo. There we go.
There we go.
No worries. Imagine it's a straight line, which it's hard to do. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the idea with that. So it's straight under. It's a straight beak, but it kind of tapers at the top. And this is a very common feature in Cheironopterids. In fact, anatomically, I know it doesn't look like much, but there's quite a few specimens of this. Some of them more complete than others. And in terms of morphology, they have a lot in common with the Chinese Cheironopterid Gidapterus. Hence why it's generally considered to be a Cheironopterid, as opposed to another kind of Asgarcoid.
Here are actually let me just post the how does one add layer? Some of the other referred specimens.
Yep. That one on the left is a very nice one, by the way. Like, if you look all the way through it, it's actually got a lot of the internal structure preserved.
Ooh.
Like you can see all the struts and the lamellae connecting to the bone wall. It's really nice.
Wow.
Which brings me to another diagnostic feature of Apatorhamphus. I'm pretty sure it was diagnostic. It's my paper, I should remember that. But one feature it has is that the bone wall gets very thick very quickly towards the tip. Like at the very tip of the beak, in some of those specimens, it's basically completely solid. So it had a very thick beak at towards the very tip.
Here is a CT scan slices of the very nice one you just pointed out, so you can see.
Yeah, the one on the top, that's the nice one. The one on the bottom is a smaller one, but that has the very tip. And you can see just right at the very end, it just goes solid.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was one structure that really caught our attention. Oh, could you get that up again, Akara?
Which one? Oh, what the?
That one.
Yeah.
Cross sections.
Yeah, this was quite a
Let me just bring it down now. There we go.
There we go. That was quite an odd feature right there. Almost like a little plate on the inside. But what caught our attention as well was this right here. And that's an abnormal growth on the bone, which might have been the result of healing from an injury.
Oh. Wow. It's interesting because it's only internal as well. It doesn't seem like it would leave any impression outside.
Yeah, it's only internal. For the most part, from the outside of the specimen, you wouldn't have known looking at it. But there's something going on right there.
Nice.
And yes, there's like 4 specimens tentatively assigned to this genus proper for
there's the mandibular symphysis as well, the lower jaw.
Yeah, there's the mandibular symphysis as well. Before I forget, I should also point out that there we go. Now, the reason that these ended up being assigned to Apatorhamphus as well is that they contain a lot of the similar features. Like they've got the sort of relatively straight profile, and in cross section, both the upper and lower jaw have this very rounded dorsal surface in the case of the upper jaw and ventral surface in the case of the lower. It's very rounded, which is part of the species name. Like Apatorhamphus gyrostega. Gyrostega means rounded roof in reference to this.
Oh.
And in the holotype, the cross section of the beak, it starts off being rounded, like this, and the occlusal surface, the inside of the mouth, is very concave. And as you get further to the back, it becomes more like a almost like a teardrop shape, something like this, and the concavity of the jaw just gets deeper.
Oh, So this is as you're moving back towards the back of the head, is it?
Yeah, this is moving back towards the back of the head.
Right.
While in the lower jaw, it's basically sort of like this, but upside down. So like that. If you compare and contrast, well, if you do Alanka, for instance, Alanka's kind of looks like this, roughly.
Wine glass up
That's
in
a
here.
terrible picture, but it's got like a very it's relatively flat. The occlusal surface is very flat compared to Apatorhamphus, and it has this massive, this almost keel-like structure in both jaws.
Mm.
So one's more Alanka's more chalice-like, and the other is more Among Us imposter or Among Us crewmate. to put it in simple terms, and since it's popular, I might as well. I was thinking about it, and I.
Oh, okay. I can actually just post a picture of the diagram from your paper. I found that.
Oh, yeah, that's like, yeah, there it is.
There we go. That's perfect.
That's better than anything I could do, but yeah.
So that's Alanka over here, I assume.
Yep, that one's Alanka. And the one above it is Apatorhamphus.
You're very teardrop shaped. Wow, that's almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one on the far right, D is the lower jaw of Apatorhamphus. And F is, well, I suppose I could always just say it like this. All the grey are Kem Kem Pterosaurs.
Which one's K?
Yeah, what is K?
K is Amberodactylus.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, I was caught off guard when I saw that one as well.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Now, I'm trying to remember what each one is. B's Aerotitan. Both C and I are Tupuxuara. J is Banguella, I believe. And G and H. Ooh.
There's an 80% pass rate on this quiz, James, so you better be careful.
Oh dear God. If I'd have known, I would have studied for this. I have the manuscript right here. No,
it's cheating!
What's that?
Cheater.
All right. I will try and use my powers of telepathy to hack into the internet and remind me. God, I hope my supervisors never see this.
I can tell you what they are, James. I have it open.
That would be the easy route, yeah.
G is Mistralis Darko, and H is Baconi Draco.
Ah, yeah, I should have known one of them was Baconi Draco. Meanwhile, L is the Tapajarid that would eventually become Afro Tapajara.
Oh. Oh, all comes together.
Yeah.
Full circle.
But yeah, you can just look at those and see the variety. I said F is Xericeps, right?
Yes.
I can't remember.
That is correct.
Well, even if I didn't, I said it now. F is Xericeps.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, you can notice one of the key things about Xericeps in cross section. It's got this weird little symphysis at the bottom of the jaw, almost like an indentation running along its chin. And that's very strange. It's also one of Xericep's key diagnostic features.
Oh.
Because the curve wasn't enough, obviously. The curve wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But this is something that is currently unknown in other pterosaurs.
I wonder what the implications of having that is.
Yeah.
There we go.
Do we have anything else to mention for Apatorhamphus?
Well, it's got a very interesting taxonomic history. Now, I know it doesn't look like much, but it's got a very complicated history behind it. There is a specimen in 1999. Actually, it's probably I could do this like a story time. Back before the 90s, pterosaurs in Africa were generally unknown. Right. So I think the only African pterosaurs that were known before then were oh, let's have a look. There were ones from Tanzania, ones from Tendaguru, things like Tendagaripterus. Aside from that, not really anything was known before the 90s from Africa, aside from like bits of teeth or fragmentary material.
Right.
And then things changed very quickly in the mid to late 90s. So in 1999, that's when Cerakopterix was described, which is an Anhanguerid pterosaur.
Right.
And it's known, funnily enough, also from a partial rostrum.
Yeah.
I can try and find an image if you want. Or would it be better to save that for
Let's save the details for the other ones for when we get to that section.
Okay, well, Cerakopterix was the first, and then in the same year, a paper by Wellenhofer and Buffeto, I believe, described 3 unique pterosaur rostra from the Kem Kem group, and there was a one of them was the an indeterminate tapejarid mandibular symphysis that would become associated with Afrotapejara.
Right.
And the other 2 were one was a Asdarchid. One was considered an indeterminate Asdarchid.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that one belongs to Alanka.
Mm.
And the other one was simply described as Pteranodontidae in det. And it is a partial rostrum. It's got a very rounded dorsal surface. It's got that taper in the dorsal surface of the jaw. Pointed, no teeth. It's got that distinct row of foramina. And obviously, Asdarchids were still relatively, Asdarchoids, I should say. I don't even think Charingopterus were known properly back then. Asdarchoids were not very well known back then. So it was generally assumed to be a pteranodonted of some description.
Yeah.
And it was with the discovery of Alanka and the description of Alanka in 2010. So we had one jaw. It was described as a mandibular symphysis. And then they looked at this indeterminate pteranodonted material and thought, well, Alanka is an Asdarchoid in the Kem Kem. Maybe this is the other jaw for it. So for about 10 years or so, it was described as that. I could try and find the actual diagram from the paper showing that particular one off. But the point is, generally, if you look around, like most Kem Kem Asdarchoids for a time were just lumped into Alanka. Like if you look on Google, if you have a look at any of the any pterosaur rostra that are for sale, if it's long, pointed, no teeth, it's generally just said it's Alanka. This is Alanka. That's Alanka. But looking at the specimens up close, it's very clear that there is much more going on there than just Alanka. And the discovery of Xericeps proved that further. So after having a look at all these specimens, and more definite specimens of Alanka were found, it's clear that this original so-called pteranodonted specimen that had been lumped into a lanka probably doesn't belong to a lanka. Like, there are complementary jaws to a lanka that have been found since then that fit far better. Morphologically, they have far more in common with the holotype than this specimen did, which is completely different. So after I got to look at the Apatorhamphus holotype, I got to have a look at some other specimens, and after seeing some images of that other one, I thought, oh, this is basically identical, so theoretically this should be in there as well. So it spent its time. People have spent its time thinking it was pteranodonted, and then they thought it was a lanka, and now it's described as its own separate taxon. That's probably a Cheironopterid. So that's where the name Apatorhamphus came from. It means deceptive beak, just because we've spent so much time trying to work out what it was.
That's a nice story.
It's a long story.
Oh, who's drawing that? Is that you?
Yeah, that was me. That's my artist's impression.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So yeah, that's probably all the fun stuff when it comes to Apatorhamphus, at least.
Right. No, that sounds interesting. It was more interesting than I thought going in. I'm going to be honest, as someone who hadn't read the paper in detail yet.
You didn't read my paper?
In detail. I was.
Oh,
Theropod boy. Sorry.
We've done James dirty.
I also want to apologize to all our viewers because there's some really weird lag going on.
That
For
is
OBS.
unfortunate.
No, OBS is fine, but like on my desktop, Aggie is just not. There was this one moment, it's probably on stream, where like every drawing on Aggie disappeared, and then it just ran through everything that's been drawn on today's session in chronological order, just like time lapsed it in about 10 seconds. So yeah.
No biggie.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Ooh.
I suppose before we move on, I suppose there's a possibility that if it is indeed a Cheironopterid, which likely is, then it would technically be the first Cheironopterid properly described from Africa.
True.
And I'm pretty sure it would technically be the geologically youngest.
Yeah.
I mean, there's every possibility that Microtuban is also a Cheironopterid, in which case it would just be a bit younger and just beat it out as being found in North Africa first. But
right.
I also seem to remember hearing rumors about a possible Cheironopterid from, was it Jordan? But I don't think there's any reliable sources to back that up, so I wouldn't worry about that one.
Right. Yeah. I've had to close Aggie, unfortunately, because it was just crashing my laptop, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
But yeah, I'll cover it up, and hopefully the audio isn't too bad. If it is, I apologize. But yeah, it's fine now.
It may not look like much. But Apatorhamphus is arguably more interesting than you might think.
Yeah.
Well, I'd obviously say that.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I agree, though. I think we agree.
Yeah.
Obviously did something right.
Hey, whoa.
Not bad for a partial rostrum taxon.
But yeah, before we move on to the other taxa. Oh, who's drawing now? Oh, that's Sassy. That's not Sassy. That's Obama.
If only Sassy was here.
James, can you delete your stuff?
Can I
press D on Aggie?
Right. Yep, there we go.
I just thought I'd sketch one
What's
out.
this? What's happening?
This is what it looks like, right? It has a big smiley face.
Yes.
Yeah, it was renowned for its beautiful smiling.
Oh, that's so nice. I bet he was great to have at parties.
Oh, I can confirm, Apatorhamphus was very fun at parties. It was
nice.
the kind of pterosaur that would show up and already be friends with everyone. There'd be that one guy at the party that knew everybody already.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Probably offered to buy 3 rounds or something. Well, they wouldn't be free. But...
Well,
they'd be free for him.
They'd be free for him because he's just that charismatic.
Yeah. Anyway, so my question was, what are your thoughts on I mean, this is the first time we've gotten someone who's actually described a taxon who can actually comment on said taxon skeletal. So.
That was made by James. So.
Oh yeah, did you worked with? Yeah, that's true. That's true. So on a scale of 1 to how good do you think you did working with Sassy?
How good do I think Sassy did? I think it's beautiful. I really like it.
Hey. So just to clarify, like the eye would have gone like here, right, and have been like this big.
No.
Well, obviously it goes right here.
Actually, the eye would have gone. Yeah, the eye would have gone somewhere.
Back to the podcast now. Sorry, guys. Yeah. We goofed it.
There we go. Okay, the eye would have gone there.
Weird heads with very weird skulls.
Yeah.
Because the crucial thing about it is that the nares, where the nose goes, and the antorbital fenestra just fuse together to make it more lightweight.
Wow,
but that's a problem because it means that since the skulls were lighter, it means that they were more easily broken and less likely to preserve. Hence, what you see right there, with this being all we actually have right now.
Yeah.
Of course, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when there's this much variety between the different morphs of pterosaur beaks that you find in a locality like the Kem Kem, it's enough to tell that there is a lot going on, and there is actually probably a very high diversity of pterosaurs in this environment. But yeah, if you look at that, if it did end up scaling up to that, that would I think that puts it within a similar size range to Lacusa vegas from Brazil.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Which would make them both two of the larger Anhanguerid.
About how big would they be?
When you do Kem Kem Pterosaurs, it's generally thought that a lot of them had a relatively mid-sized wingspan, which is normally guessed to be an estimate within 3 to 7 meters.
A small range.
A small range.
Oh yes, a very small range.
Yeah, just it's not that big, but
I love it when ranges are bigger than their smallest value.
Well, it's better safe than sorry.
Yeah, very true.
You're right.
Yeah, I suppose if we were to go off Sassy Skeletal right there, I'd say that 4 meters. That's just a random guess based on what I'm looking at. I'd be happy to go with that. Obviously,
we can scale it up as well and say it's 12.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. 15.
15.
12 is for amateurs. But yeah, obviously that's completely guesswork. That's completely fanciful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to say that for certain. Like, Apatorhamphus had this big a wingspan and it had this many vertebrae in its neck.
Well, I think your Apatorhamphus beats out my Apatorhamphus cow. So
Obama cow.
I'll give that one a check mark. Even my check marks are terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'll make it a V for Vic. There we go.
There you go. You've got my seal of approval.
Oh, wow. I feel.
So do you want to talk a little bit? Just do a quick breakdown of the other Kem Kem Pterosaurs then. Now that we have you
I'm
here.
glad you asked.
Well, take it away again.
So, where do we begin? Okay, well, I guess now is a good place to jump back to 1999, which is when you get Cerakopterix, which is an Anhanguerid pterosaur. All of these are known from rostra, and I actually quite like the Cerakopterix specimen because it's got a couple of teeth attached to it.
That was terrible.
Well, this is my
My drawing.
artist's impression of the Cerakopterix specimen.
Ooh, it's okay. Yeah, it's that one. It's done.
Generally thought to have close affinities with the Coloborhynchus. I know it spent the past 20 years hopping in and out of Coloborhynchus, but more recent papers have affirmed that it's a distinct genus.
Yeah.
And, Cerakopterix is all you have for about 10 years, apart from the aforementioned indeterminate jaws from found by Willenhoff from Buffeto. But then you get to 2010, and that's when Alanka is described, which I'm sure is the one that everybody knows. And there's my artist's impression. Ooh.
Yeah, so Lanka's a lower jaw then. Mandibular symphysis.
That's how it's been described at the moment. And obviously the key feature about there's several key features about Alanka. It's got that weird keel in the jaw, but one of the really cool things about it is the this thing right there, which is preserved quite well in some specimens.
You probably should be changing colours, James, just saying.
That would be a very, very
Control
good
Z
idea.
and I can circle it.
It would take a genius to figure that out, and I, unfortunately, am not a genius.
I think you're a genius enough to write a paper, so you're doing good.
Well, I'm clearly in some areas. But I can't figure out how to use Agio. So you win some, you lose some. But yeah. So that process right there is very cool, and it was talked about in greater detail in a paper by Martil and Ibrahim in 2015. Because they had another specimen, which my artist's impression is that it's only a little bit, but it looks like this. And there's that one. And I was going to point out the fact that it's paired, but I'm not going to draw the second one on there because that wouldn't look too good. But basically, there's one process in one jaw, and in the other jaw, it's paired. So what you have is something that sort of interlocks.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, I don't know how to feel about that.
That is something.
It's very strange. And what
Fucking Lego pterosaur up in here.
Yeah, you could probably guess looking at it, but it's generally believed to have a function with feeding. Like if you pick up, like a crab, or
that's interesting though, because it could be like crushing it.
Yeah, exactly. Throw it back into the mouth, and they work together, and they
process sticks up.
Yeah. There's quite a few pterosaurs that have structures like this. Mistral Darko was found recently, and that had one as well. I'm pretty sure there's evidence of similar structures in things like Erititan and Argentina Draco.
Wow.
And there might be some indication that it even went outside of Asdarcoids, but I'll get to that when I get to that. So, yeah, Alanka. And Alanka is, I've forgotten if I mentioned it or not, but Alanka is an Asdarchid. So there's that as well. So, and then we jump forward to 2017, And that's when Xericeps comes into the picture. And Xericeps is known from jaw material. Now, the holotype kind of looks like that. It doesn't exactly look like that, obviously.
I'll
But,
post a picture here in post.
You might as well do that, yes. And no. Okay, so
it curves up.
gaze in awe of my wonderful artistry. Basically, Xericeps has a jaw that curves upwards.
Right.
And and I already mentioned earlier that Xericeps has this weird groove on the underside of its jaw. Not sure what purpose that would have had, but it helps distinguish it from other pterosaurs, so fair enough. And Xericeps also has a much milder version of the processes seen in Alanka. In Alanka, well, no, we've talked about Alanka, but in Xericeps, they seem to be paired in the lower jaw, which might be something to think about for Alanka, to be fair. But they are there in...
Right, I get it.
They are there in Xericeps as well, which combined with the curve in the jaw might suggest that they are feeding it in a slightly different manner.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of just early, looking at it immediately, it's Anhanguerid.
Kinda, now that you mention it, yeah. Obviously, Anhanguerid had proper teeth at the back.
Yeah. But
as well.
The upturn.
Except Anguilla.
Yeah.
If that is indeed a Anhanguerid. But, yeah. It might be a similar thing kind of going on there. It might have been using the curve in the jaw to find things. But that's pure conjecture.
Yeah.
Point is, it was described as an Asdarchoid. I think, looking at it, it's most likely an Asdarchid.
Right.
It does share quite a few common features with Alanka, like the... It's kind of got the processes. Like I said that those are known in other Asdarchoids, but in that sort of manner, this kind of manner, they're generally known in Asdarchids. And another crucial thing about Asdarchids is that the jaw becomes deeper than wider very quickly, which isn't normally the case in other Asdarchoids. But that's the case in Alanka and Xericeps, so it seems reasonable to assume that they're both most likely Asdarchids.
Oh.
Oh, another little factoid: Xericeps is the first pterosaur described that's name begins with an X.
Oh, wow.
And that, I think that was actually part of the reasoning behind calling it that in the first place. But its name means dry catcher, I believe. Oh,
yep,
right.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I suppose I should mention Alanka is named after a phoenix-like creature from Arabian mythology.
Nice.
And Cerakopterix is Sirocco wing. Yeah.
Right.
Which is a wind that passes through Africa.
So it's so basically it's a type of wind wing.
If you like.
Yeah.
Hang on.
It's a nice name,
I'm gonna check that just to be on the safe side. I don't want to look like a fool too many times here. But obviously, more and more pterosaurs are starting to come out of the Kem Kem with these years as they go along.
I mean, we had obviously Apatorhamphus and
yes, I was right. Okay.
The snoot one. What's God, I always forget what its name is.
Leptostomia?
Leptostomia, yes. We've had those two.
Yes.
Which we both discussed in our other episode that you're going to go watch. If you haven't already.
Yeah, so Apatorhamphus, that was last year.
Yeah.
I wrote like a paragraph for that paper.
Hey.
If that.
Hey.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to have been at least a part of that one as well.
Yeah.
It's always nice to be able to be part of something like that.
Yeah.
And Apatorhamphus is the first Tapijariid
Yeah.
properly known from Africa. And there is because this is what I was saying, that these structures, these processes in the jaws that probably had a role in feeding might be known in other Asdarchoids. Afrotapijara appears to have a small one in its upper jaw as well.
Oh.
So that might be something going on with that jaw. Like, I know when I saw the upper jaw, I thought it looked quite long. It kind of reminded me of Sinopterus
Mm.
initially looking at it, but obviously the phylogeny found it closer to Tapijara and Tupandactylus.
Yeah.
So the length is probably just a coincidence. And Leptostomia was last year as well. That's a weird, tiny little Asdarchoid of indeterminate group, and I'm not sure I can make an accurate guess because there is nothing quite like it.
Yeah.
And that was obviously doing something very strange, like perhaps something akin to a wading bird or a kiwi.
Yeah, probe feeding.
Yeah.
Probe
We
feeding.
did we did discuss that.
Mm.
And then
And
there's
you have
also
some of the
go ahead.
you go first.
I was going to mention Nicorhynchus fluviferox.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So in it was 2018, wasn't it? Yeah, 2018, that a snout tip was found that was assigned by Jacobs et al. To Coloborhynchus. So you have that's my artist's impression of it. So you have Coloborhynchus fluviferox. That's what it was named.
Hmm.
The fluviferox meaning terror of the river. That was it. And
Yeah.
that recent Coloborhynchine paper,
Which we also discussed in our previous episode. Go watch it.
Yeah, lumped it into the new genus Nicorhynchus, which means knucker snout. That's it. It's Nicor comes from an old English word for the knucker. It's like a dragon-like creature from European mythology.
Mm.
And two species of which were originally from Coloborhynchus, because I think only Coloborhynchus clavirostris is actually in Coloborhynchus now.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only one. Just the holotype.
Yep, just the holotype.
One slightly poopy specimen.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. A nice specimen. Well, I'm kind of fond of it anyway. And but yeah, so the new genus Nicorhynchus includes Nicorhynchus capito, formerly Coloborhynchus capito, from the Cambridge Greensands of England, which are around the same age as the Kem Kem.
Mm.
And then obviously over in the Kem Kem you have formerly Coloborhynchus fluviferox, now Nicorhynchus fluviferox.
Yeah.
And Jacobs et al. Last year described a potential second species of Coloborhynchus from the region, but I'm pretty sure that Coloborhynchine paper also lumped that into Nicorhynchus fluviferox.
Perhaps.
And yeah, it's a similar specimen, but there are some differences. My artist's impression again.
Epic.
There we go. It's more obvious if you look at the actual specimens. Just take my word for it.
It's just...
Trust him.
Trust. And
So what are those two holes then? Because this is in cross section, is it not?
Oh, yeah, those are in cross section. Those holes are on the specimen, and those are tooth sockets.
Nice.
And in a lot of coloborhynchines, hang on, if I do this in side profile, in a lot of coloborhynchines, so you have the teeth going along there, and in some, like Coloborhynchus / Nicorhynchus fluviferox, there's one here, so you'd have a tooth that's coming out at that angle.
Oh, wow. Also, yeah, I can confirm, I'm looking at the paper now, yeah, they do lump the quote-unquote second Coloborhynchus sp into N. fluviferox.
Yeah, I thought so. So, yeah.
You know, if you look at this and, like, don't look too hard, I could be a millipede.
Oh, I'm relieved you said millipede. But what if I do this?
That's just like, what if I do this?
Oh no! It's the thing, but pterosaurs.
It's a very hungry caterpillar walking that way. I'll draw lines of motion. And he's taking a shit. Right. Well, if you've watched us this far, thank you. Please comment in the description. Please let us know in the comment section you watched this far.
Yeah.
We did that. We used to do that like early on. We'd put like, please comment this if you made it to the end, and we just like gave up.
Wait, how long does that mean we've been going for?
Oh, we're almost at. We're at like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think I'm about done with the Apatorhamphus.
Yeah, who just thought that a talk about one a taxon like Apatorhamphus could go on for this long. I mean, it helps that you've got all the other Kem Kem Pterosaurs to back you up.
He's got
Yeah,
a
talking of
squad.
which, that same paper from Jacobs et al. That described the potential Coloborhynchus sp also had a couple of other specimens. One of them was a partial jaw that they assigned to Anhanguerid, specifically Anhanguerid CF piscitor, which is a species formerly known from just Brazil, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's a nice specimen. Like, if it is if it does indeed belong to Anhanguerid, then that would be the first record of Anhanguerid in Africa as well.
It's crazy how many there are in the Kem Kem.
Yeah, I know.
There is a surprising amount of diversity.
Yeah, that's like not even getting onto the last one from the same paper, which was a specimen that was assigned to Ornithochirus CF simus, and I kid you not, it is basically identical to the holotype of Ornithochirus from the Cambridge Greensands.
Wow.
So I'm quite happy to say that is Ornithochirus, maybe even Ornithochirus simus. Like if you compare the two, yeah.
Wow. Okay. This is all from Jacobs et al.
Yeah.
Right. I'll put that in the description.
Yeah, definitely put that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's done quite a bit of work on the ornithochiroids. But yeah, so if that's Ornithochirus, that would mean that Ornithochirus had quite a wide range.
So what that means is, for the Walking with Dinosaurs remake, Ornithochirus flies from Cambridge Greensand to Morocco.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But just to keep consistency, because we have to, approach it the same way Walking Dinosaurs did, we have to show Spinosaurus in the Cambridge Greensand.
Yeah, obviously.
Only Lodge.
It's
I mean, if
no
the pterosaurs could be connected,
it's just there.
If the pterosaurs could be connected, therefore logically all land animals could be. So
anything, really
makes
everything,
sense.
can.
Especially ones that could swim.
Exactly.
Yeah. So clearly, seagoing pterosaurs like Ornithochirus had a very wide range. Well, I suppose Anhanguerid as well, because it's on the other side of the Atlantic here.
Yeah.
And the same applies to Nicorhynchus / Coloborhynchus.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that it's pretty obvious at this point that the Kem Kem has a lot going on. There's a lot of fish, a lot of crocodilomorphs, quite a few dinosaurs, mostly theropods.
Yeah. A lot of
And
pterosaurs.
it's generally seen as this big paradise full of animals, and clearly there were a lot of pterosaurs, and they were all exploiting the richness of this area, and they were probably all doing different things in different ways, although what
Yeah.
exactly is open to interpretation. But I'd imagine that certain things like those the bony processes on Alanka, the upward curve in the jaw of the Xericeps, the sensitivity of Leptostomia, the short jaws of Afrotapijara, the thickened beak of Apatorhamphus, and all the different dentitions and size and shape of the jaws of things like Ornithochirus and Anhanguerid and Cerakopterix and Nicorhynchus. They all could very well have been doing different things.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Seems like quite a bit of niche and diet partitioning going on
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
all the animals in Kem Kem. That may be because of the substantial amount of, theropods, pterosaurs, crocodilomorphs compared to maybe ornithischians and sauropods and other maybe more prey animals.
Yeah. Much more fish-oriented ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It
number
was
of
very interesting.
fish-eating and meat-eating animals in the environment far exceeds that of the plant eaters. I'm sure you already talked about that, but
Oh
I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure the only definitely herbivorous animals that I know of off the top of my head were Rabachisaurus, the
Mm-hmm.
sauropod,
Yeah.
maybe a couple of fragmentary sauropods, and there's that iguanodont footprint and that possible
A
that
thyreophorans.
ornithischian tooth, which may be a basal
Yeah.
thyreothauran.
And of course, potentially a Deltadromeus, depending what ends up with that one.
Oh yes, depending on whatever Deltadromeus ends up being.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you have a ton of fish-eating animals, ton of meat-eating, probably some omnivorous animals as well. There really is a lot supporting all these different kinds of animals in the Kem Kem ecosystem, and it's really cool to just kind of try and piece it all together.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, who's done that one?
Oh, I'm
The
not drawing.
flying one.
I'm not drawing. You'd know if I was drawing.
I'm sure I would.
It'd be so good, right?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, the one on the right is obviously. Then Climate Cow take all the credit. It's obviously yours, Agara.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Just that nice a guy.
I could never draw something like this. The pterosaur, after all. Who draws those?
You got me.
Let me just draw one up right now, shall I?
All right. We'll have to do a competition.
Right. So, can you delete your blues, James, please? Thank you.
All right. My blues are gone. They are blue no more.
Right. So we've got like. I'll use pink as a base color, but then I'll change it up later. So.
Ooh, smart.
Right. So it's looking like this.
Ooh, I actually don't like that.
Its wing is going to be like this. Exactly like that. Nailed it.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
perfect.
And then its foot is like this. And then all we do is a little bit of detailing.
Oh.
Oh, the heck was that?
Sorry, accidentally. And then we just do a little bit of detailing and it's done.
I was gonna say,
Wow.
the
There.
secret's been
You see?
revealed.
Just took a few
Art
seconds.
speed run, 80%.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, you see, just 10 seconds. Oh, there's a little bit of pink here. Let me just fixed it. Touched it. Art by Joshua Tedder, of course. Fantastic
Yeah.
art.
I love that. You should be really proud of that one.
Pteros. Also,
Yeah,
just check out
that
Pteros.
Puts
the
mine to
website.
shame.
Yeah, actually, let's just delete that so yours feels better. There we go.
Right, I'm gonna try and do one now.
Dear God.
Oh God, I cannot do digital to save my life. Give me a
I mean,
pen and or a pencil and paper, and I'm good. But digital, I just can't. I can't do anything.
on mouse. You're on mouse, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on mouse as well, and it's hurting. Not fun.
Oh, it's soul crushing.
To any of the viewers who do digital art on a mouse, I'm afraid of you. You are insane.
Just put like the yeah. Maybe I should have started in the middle. There you go. Now I've got one
That's
on
nice.
there.
I'm
Like
liking
for
the
comparison.
character in your bottom one there, Cal.
Hmm.
Oh, thank you.
And getting a crocodile in there as well to represent Armin.
I feel like I should post one of my traditional ones
It
up there
would
just
be a
to
shame.
show the
It's a shame that you
comparison.
can't join us.
Yeah. Big sad. Armin, if you're watching this video back, just shout out to Armin in the future.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I will appreciate it.
Yeah. You see, he says
Yeah.
himself. Wait,
Hey.
Hold up, wait.
Armin!
Yeah,
I'm so glad you could join us.
yeah.
Armin, okay, there's totally not been major technical difficulties in the middle of this episode, just letting you know. It's all run smoothly.
That's good to
I
hear.
don't know if I can do that. No, I can't.
All right.
Real talk though, you did realize I was here, right?
Of course I realized you were here.
No, we didn't. We just didn't know you were here. You were talking,
I
but we just
noticed you
didn't
were there.
know.
I just didn't know if you wanted me to draw attention. Be like, hey, Armin, come join us.
Oh, we're all good. This is all just some fun.
Hunky and Door.
Does this mean now Armin's here that we get to talk about potential pop culture appearances of the Kem Kem
Oh
Pterosaurs?
god, are you gonna post a Kem Kem Pterosaur Armin? Yeah, we said at the start, if Armin shows up, I bet he's posting Jurassic Park the game.
I mean, like,
Alanka time.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I have it right
It's
here.
probably going to be a
that
wanker.
could work.
I have it
I mean, like,
right.
are there any pre-2000s really? Because
No.
otherwise, I don't think I can deliver.
Yeah, no.
Well,
I have Alanka.
see,
Jurassic
that's not
World
absolute garbage, which is
Yeah.
good by this.
Not
It's pretty
horrible.
good. The final stage even looks pretty aesthetically
doesn't look-
pleasing.
It's aesthetically pleasing. I mean, of course, but of course it's not accurate
Yeah, there we go.
at all.
It's not
Wait,
too bad though. Like,
It's not horrible. I mean, is there any other Kem Kem Pterosaurs in Jurassic World the game? Because I could give it as a comparison.
I
Don't
mean,
know.
I think Ornithopteris is in
Oh,
there.
true.
If you want to
I mean,
count
yeah.
Ornithopteris.
Coloborhynchus does not count anymore.
Topiognathus and Coloborhynchus, but you don't.
Coloborhynchus does not count. We just went on about how it's Nicorhynchus
Yeah, that's
now.
true.
I mean, we could count it anyway, just in case.
Well, in that case, Coloborhynchus is absolutely fucking ugly.
All right, so
Yeah, now you get to suffer.
Ornithopteris.
Since it might well
I
be
can't find
Ornithopteris
a
seamless.
single good
so
image.
right.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Oh boy.
Now this is a VIP. Here it is.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
painfully average.
Oh wait, oh yeah, they added that. I have.
Yeah, it was a tournament creature. Now if I can, the level 40.
Oh god.
It's got to be
Oh.
Ornithochirus simus.
This one is not. This one is not. This is not aesthetically pleasing.
Oh god, I've never seen the level 40 for this one.
Oh!
Not aesthetically
Oh,
pleasing
God.
at all.
It's
Oh,
always had a bad
Reverse.
hair day.
Give me a moment.
It looks like it's trying to cosplay as Iago from Aladdin.
yeah. Oh my god, it does.
Imagine an Ornithochirus with Gilbert Gottfried's voice.
Honestly, we just need more animated pterosaurs in media.
I'll be down for that.
And themselves did so well.
And if you want to look at just real quick level 40 Cloborhynchus, we can just take a
Sure.
peek.
Let's just take a peek.
There you
This
go.
one, they just literally went, all right, what color do we want? Yes.
It's just like
Oh
David
god, it has that.
Beasley's-
What is that crest?
Ask. They
I
added.
have
They just
no
throw it
idea.
on. They just throw it on. They just throw on random features onto level 40s. You should know this.
God. Yeah, but it's just
Look at
so
those chest
stupid.
hairs.
Air Titan.
Somebody ate a lot of cabbage as a kid. I think that's it.
I think that's about it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, look at this thing. This is a bit more high
I'm
quality.
gonna delete this one.
Like, oh my
That's
god.
yeah. Well, I kept it low quality because it's such a low quality design, but
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds they stuck bat wings in there as well?
oh, the way they fly, you might think they're bats.
Mm.
I mean, the Tapashara has bat wings.
Yeah, the type of
I cannot
has.
draw my own layout.
Ugh.
You probably can, but your layer is just too low, probably. Oh, there we go. That is
What?
correct.
It's
The crest.
It's got a lot of chest hair.
A lot.
And I'm honestly surprised it didn't like try to make something with the snout. Like, could have
Honestly,
really
that's just
exaggerated that, but nope.
That would have
very
been better. Like if they
disappointing.
take away that top crest thing or whatever, just give it like a like crest on the rostrum or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But no, this is the way they
Cat,
play.
please stop getting. Bloody hell.
Anyways, I
Nope.
think if there's no
Making it
more
worse.
pictures, shall we start wrapping it up?
I mean, there's
Yeah.
generic Opterus from Planet Dinosaur, but that's obviously not based on anything.
I mean, yeah, because like Alanka was never considered a Triangopterid, was it?
No,
And
no, it
it's
wasn't.
clearly based on a Triangopterid, which makes no sense.
Because Apatorhamphus hadn't been discovered yet.
Yeah, and like I don't think there are any actual Triangopterids in the show that were known at the time, at least, unless because there's the argument maybe it was Lacusovagus that they wanted for the South American Argentinian sequence, but that just, I mean, I guess maybe Triangopterids are the only thing really known from that time, assuming they knew about Lacusovagus. I don't know.
No, I don't know either. I guess it just functioned as a generic pterosaur that they could just fit in wherever they wanted it to.
True. Including the Jurassic, because of course.
Yeah, the Jurassic. Time traveling Chariangopterid. My favourite kind of Chariangopterid. I think that might be it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Anhanguerid was in Dinosaur Revolution, if we want to count that.
That's a good model though.
I remember that is a nice model.
Weird sequence, but nice model.
Otherwise, yeah, I think that's it. Pterosaurs don't get a lot of love in media. The Kem Kem ones really don't get a lot of love. I mean, to be fair, most of them haven't had a lot of time.
They are very, very new.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
But
All
like a
but
Kem Kem
one.
doc would really work now, like even as an entire series just on the Kem Kem.
true.
Because you have Spinosaurus, you have all of these pterosaurs, you have crocs, fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just a pterosaur documentary.
Flying Monsters 2.
Yes.
I mean, there is a lot that you could do with pterosaurs.
I mean, they did
I
kind
would-
of softly do
love-
Flying Monsters 2 in Conquest of the Skies,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
where they have Dimorphodon. They have a new Dimorphodon model and a new Quetzalcoatlus model, but it's the same studio, but
Yeah.
they just redid it. And also they have Microraptor there as well. My
It was
favorite
nice to see
pterosaur,
Microraptor.
but yeah.
Yes. Microraptor is obviously the best pterosaur. Actually, no, the real best pterosaur is Archaeopteryx.
Yes.
Insert joke about all the times people have said pterosaurs are birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. And Armin did his. I assume that's Armin?
Yes.
Yeah,
probably.
Armin did his Pterosaur as well. Which one is that meant to be? Alanka?
Alanka, I guess.
Yeah. So we've covered all the bases.
Yeah, that is a face that screams, mmm. Those invertebrates do be looking hella tasty right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's one thing I've taken away from this, it's that pterosaurs really do need a lot more love than they get.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sure learned a lot this episode.
Mm.
Yes.
Armin more than most.
Yeah, I'm sure
Oh
Armin
yeah,
learned
Armin
quite a
learned
bit.
more than anybody.
It was really inspiring.
Right. Well, thank you again to James for joining. This was
Well, thank you for
very
having me.
fun. No, very, very interesting. Thank you to Cal and Armin for being here this whole time and helping out.
You're welcome.
No problem.
And thank you to me for running. No, and I'll see you guys in the next. We'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.